In this lesson, we are going to work with understanding powers of 10 using exponents. First, you need to know what is an exponent. When we look at a number that has this little digit placed above it, this is what we call our exponent. The 10 is the base. This is the number that will be repeated through multiplication. And the 2 in this example is called the exponent. This will tell me how many times my number 10 will be repeated. So let's look at a couple of examples. In the first example, we have a 2, which is our base, and it's 2 to the 5th power, 2 to the 5, and we say that's the 5th power. So this means that my base 2 is going to be repeated this many times. So I have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 to the 5th power means that I'm doing 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which equals 32. In my second example, I have 3 to the 2nd power, or we say 3 squared. So 3 is my base, 2 is my exponent. My base is the number that will be repeated, and my exponent tells me how many times it will be repeated. So it's 3 times 3 equals 9. And on my last example, my base is 10, and my exponent is 3. So my number 10 will be repeated 3 times. So it's 10 times 10 times 10 equals 1,000. In these lessons, we're going to just be focusing on our base 10 using exponents. We can also use exponents instead of repeated multiplication, so we'll do the opposite. We see that our 10 has been multiplied 3 times, so we're going to use the 10 as the base, and that 3 times tells me that this is the same as 10 to the 3rd power, which is 1,000. On our second example, we have our base 3, and our number 3 is repeated 4 times, so we say that's 3 to the 4th power. And 3 to the 4th power is 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 is 27 times 3 is 81. And on our last example, we have our base 2, the digit that is repeated over and over again, and the 2 is repeated 5 times. So instead of writing 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, we can say that this is 2 to the 5th power, which is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which is 32. Because exponents are new to us, there's some very common mistakes. When some students see 3 to the 2nd power, they think that they are doing 3 times 2 equals 6. But that is not what an exponent does. An exponent repeats the digit. So it's 3 2 times 3 times 3, which is 9. In our second example, we see that this is 10 to the 3rd power. This is not 10 times 3 equals 30. This is 10 to the 3rd power. So we do not just multiply the base times the exponent. The base is the number that is repeated, and the exponent tells me how many times that base is repeated. So we know that it's really 10 times 10 times 10 equals 1,000. So do not make the common mistake of multiplying the base times the exponent. That is not what an exponent does. So let's look at our base 10 chart, and we're going to look at the products that we're going to get and how do we get these products. In order to get 10, we just multiply 10 times 1. In order to get 100, we multiply 10 times 10. And we can see the pattern. In order to get 1,000, as we move left down our place value chart, each number increases by times 10. So 1,000 is 10 times 10 times 10, which means 10,000 would be another 10 added to that. So multiplying 4 tens together. And how does this work with our exponents? 10 times 1 is just 110. So we could write it with 10 to the first power as being just 110, but we don't typically write that. It's just 10. But knowing our knowledge now, our base is going to be 10, and now our exponent tells us how many times we multiply 10 together. So 100 becomes 10 squared, or 10 to the second power. 1,000 becomes 10 to the third power. 10,000 becomes 10 to the fourth power. And each time we move left, our numbers increase by 110 times 10. And it'll keep going on this pattern as we continue on down to the left of the place value chart. And maybe you've noticed this pattern of zeros as we go. If you think of 10, this is 1 0, so it's 10 to the first power. 2 zeros and 100, which means that we've multiplied 2 tens together, so it's 10 to the second power. 3 zeros and 1,000, because we've multiplied 3 tens together, so it's 10 to the third. There is not a coincidence between the number of zeros in the number and the exponent. So 10 to the fourth would have 4 zeros in it. And that's because we're multiplying 10 4 times. So here's some practice problems that you want to write as a product of 10. You can pause this video now and do the work, and then start it up again to see the answers. So in our first one, it's 10 to the fourth. So we have 4 tens. This is our 10 multiplying 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. And again, we know that that 10 to the fourth is going to have 4 zeros because we've multiplied 4 tens. So here are our 4 tens. So 10 to the fourth power we can see is 10,000. 10 squared, writing as a product of 10, is 10 times 10, which is 100. And then our last one, we have 7 tens, so we have to do this 7 times. Of course, I have to put a number 7 in there. So if we multiply 10 7 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we know that we're going to have 7 zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I know that for every 3 zeros, I put a comma. So my answer is 10 million. So now you're going to see problems that look like this. You can pause it right now so you won't see the answers, and then start it up again when you are finished. Here is 3 times 10 to the third. So we know that that is the same as 3 times 1,000, because 10 to the third equals 1,000. So my answer is 3,000. In the second one, we have 9 times 10 squared. So now I know that 10 squared is 100. So 9 times 100 is 900. And the last one says that it's 4,123 divided by 10 to the third. So that's 3 place values. We know it's divided by 1,000. So my 4 is going to have to move to the right 3 places over here. And it's going to be where the 3 is. So that's in the ones place. And the rest of the numbers will follow it. So my answer is 4 and 123 thousandths. Here are just a few more practice problems. Again, pause and then start it up again and solve the problems. 2 and 3 tenths times 10 to the third is 2 3/10 times 100. My number gets bigger by 2 places, so it becomes 230. My next one is 435. This time my number is going to get smaller by 1,000. So my number has to shift to the right. There's my decimal point after the 5, and it has to go 3 places, 3/10. So this is 1, 2, 3. So my 4 is now going to be in the 10th place. So my answer is 435 thousandths. And my last one is 6 27 hundredths times 10,000. Put a bigger number in here. So that means my number has to get bigger by 4 places. So right now my 6 is in the ones place. It has to move over 4 places. Tens, hundred, thousand, 10,000ths. So my new number becomes 62,700. I hope that working with exponents and watching the video has made you an expert on understanding base 10 exponents.